I know that this program will prepare me for my own disability. Where when they called today and talked about SSA and SSI, I said, well, she was saying something about SSI. I said, well, I didn't apply for SSI. I know the difference. And she said, well, you're getting both. And so, you know, I was overwhelmed and overjoyed by that, and I was so glad that I knew the difference. And I can remember back in Dr. Dival's class, him saying, you know, he would go on and on and on with these lectures. And then we'd get a test, and I'd be like, Dr. Dival, that was not on the test. And he'd be like, oh, kiddo, yes, it was. So then there was Dr. Thomas, medical aspects. Is anybody taking medical aspects now? Well, you missed a treat with Dr. Thomas because she worked us in medical aspects. And no, use the other. Okay. Well, she worked us in medical aspects, and I was also happy to be able to be a part of doing research for Hurricane Katrina in Washington, D.C. with Dr. Thomas. And that is one of the memories that I would never forget because it was such a overwhelming, awesome thing to do, to be able to go out and help and do counseling to the Hurricane Katrina victims. And the one I left for the most memorable time is Dr. Lewis. Is anybody taking case management? Okay, well, we took it over a summer, and every day we heard case management. So I said, I got to, and when I first came into the program, and I was being interviewed on my biography, Dr. Moore said, I see you like poetry. So he said, do something for me. And I'm in the middle of interviewing. And I had to do the poem. I had to do a poem. So Dr. Moore was, Dr. Philip Lewis was going over case management. I was like, case management, case management. All I hear in my mind is case management, collaboration, case management. And so, you know, I stopped and I said, Dr. I got a poem about case management because you doing too much. But I'm so grateful that he taught me about case management because I've had to manage my own case now. And also, I cannot forget ethics. How many people are taking ethics? Anybody taking ethics? How many already took ethics? Well, I'm going to take you back, and I'm going to need some participation. Dr. Lewis drilled in our head the 5 ethical principles. Let me tell you. We ate this, slept it, studied it. We had groups, and we had to learn the 5 ethical principles. We had to be able to write about them. So I also did a poem that said, this is kind of like a rap. And anybody remember that song, My Neck, My Back? Can I get a beat to that? Can I go? Can y'all go? My neck. But it's not going to be, there's going to be different words. Come on, let's clap with it. And then I'm going to have y'all come in with me. This is what we're going to say. My principles, my source. I learned them in my ethics. My principles, my source. I learned them in my ethics. Justice, fidelity, autonomy, beneficence, non-offense, my principles, my source. Come on. I learned them in my ethics. My principles, my source. I learned them in my ethics. Justice, fidelity, autonomy, beneficence, non-offense. And so, to the new students that's coming in, remember that, and when you take the test, you can pass it. Just get it in your head. My principles, my source. I learned them in my ethics course. And if you get those down, you can't go wrong in ethics. Thanks to Dr. Lewis. And as I reflect that, I just want to say to Dr. Moore and to the entire faculty and staff of Langston that I'm really, really grateful that I came through this program And it taught me many, many things, and it was one of the greatest things that I accomplished, being able to graduate. I moved away to Virginia for 2 years, where I worked as a counselor in a juvenile detention home in Virginia, which it was really off the chain because the kids on the East Coast are so much different than our kids back here in the Midwest, because I've worked here in detention too, as opposed to working out there. And doing my trial out there, the whole time I was there, I ended up with breast cancer, and by the time they caught it, it was stage 3. And I had both breasts removed, reconstruction, chemotherapy, radiation, 24 lymph nodes removed, and I was off work for 6 months, and my mother came out and lived with me for 6 months and took care of me because I couldn't drive, I couldn't take a bath, couldn't do nothing because I was, just cut up so bad. And then the Lord allowed me to recover, and I went back to work. And when I went back to work, I was there about 4 weeks, and it was a fight on the unit. And so I had to assist in the takedown. So they was like, oh my God, Rhonda, you just got back. You got to go to the emergency room. So I go to the emergency room. This is how good God is. And the doctor came back and she said, well, everything is fine from the fight, but I just want to let you know we found a spot on your lung. So by the time I got home, I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, okay, I'm thinking, after all I went through, I know I don't have breast cancer no more. That's gone. And so by the time I got home, my oncologist had called and said, we want to schedule you for a PET scan. So I went in for the PET scan, and at the time, she said, we can't tell if it's benign or malignant, so I had to go in for a biopsy, which they went in through my back to get the tissue out the lung and test it. Came back, it was malignant. I was still in Virginia at the time, and my mom said, Rhonda, please, you got to come back to Oklahoma City so I can see you every day. And when I got back, it was rough because I had a very great position. And I loved it there. My sister lived there, and we just really enjoyed Virginia. But I got back, got with an oncologist here, did some further testing, and now they have found 5 tumors on my lungs. But I'm in good spirits. I'm happy about the foundation. I've been working hard on it. I want to educate women and men what triple-negative breast cancer is, because it's real. It's targeting our African-American community, and a lot of individuals do not know what triple-negative breast cancer is. And so that's my main mission of the Rhonda K Hutson Foundation, to educate, support, get a van where we can offer free mammograms to people who cannot afford them, because they are very important. Ladies, please get your mammogram. If you can catch it at first stage, you are in good shape. If you get it late, then you have a struggle, and it's a hard fight. And I just am so overwhelmed, and I said that I was going to try to hold back the tears. I just want to say to the people on the board, to the officers, Dr. Lewis, Orkita, Keontae, Jackie, and most of these are people that I graduated with. I just want to say thank you for supporting me, to Dr. Moore for supporting me, and I just want to say you guys look beautiful in your ties, and pray for my children, because they are struggling with this. And I went for a procedure today that made me feel pretty bad, but I said, Lord, I want to get up here and do this reflection, because it's on my heart. And I got some news today that the cancer is terminal. So I want everybody to just be in prayer for me, for my children, and my mother. And I love you, Langston, and I'm grateful for the opportunities that I have had here.